Reese on the radio. Whack FM.
All right, ladies, buckle up. It's showtime.
Hey! What's going on, all you scallywags out there today? You know what time it is. It's time for the world's most hated and most racist online show in America. It's the Reese on the Radio Rundown with yours truly, Mr. Reese on the Radio. Hello, Carl. Mr. John Beckman in the house. Welcome to you all. Online. On the podcast, wherever it is that you are, thank you for always checking out the Rundown. Wherever you are, wherever you live, whoever you are, whoever you love. Interesting show. I did something weird, right? So yesterday's show, I didn't post on the podcast, right? I didn't put it on iHeart. I didn't put it on any of the podcasting thing. And then I listened to it this morning. I was on a car ride with Carl. And I was listening to it, and I said, why would I not put that on a podcast? I should. Because I felt like the whole conversation was personal. I felt like it was between myself and Mariah, old friend. And I started to listen to it, and I said, you know what? A lot of the stuff that I talked about on the show is important to put out there. So I posted it this evening, so it's there. So if there was anyone out there who's like, hey, why wasn't last night's show on the podcast? It'll be there tomorrow, along with this show. In fact, they will literally, both of them will pop up simultaneously. So they'll be available. Yesterday's show. It was an entire show about abortion, about my point of view on abortion, why I believe the way I believe, and why I defend people's right to believe what they believe, even if they're opposed to me. And Mariah and I were trying to understand that. By the way, after the show, she sent me a message, and I asked her, I said, it wasn't too bad, was it? She says, no, she actually liked it. She enjoyed the show. She is not one of these people that's opposed to being challenged on her view. I don't think that she's ever going to change her mind about abortion. She is, and that's fine. I don't want people changing their mind because of me. I want them to change their mind because of the facts. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be a gaslighter or influencer, if you will. I don't want anybody, drinking my bathwater. That's, that's nasty, for one. But I don't want anybody drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm not trying to be some cult follower or cult leader, so to speak. So I'm glad that she got an opportunity to listen to the show. Hopefully she'll come back. And maybe we'll have an exchange about some other topic that she disagrees with me on. I got to do a little bit of personal house cleaning today, folks. This bothers me to say, because when I hate on somebody, it's got to be for a reason. But this person irks the F out of me, and I have no idea why. For those of you who are watching, and you're not, if you're on a podcast, you can't see this, but you'll know him up. You'll know who I'm talking about. Just look him up. His name is Craig Robinson. He's been in a couple of Seth Rogen films. He's of that whole group. Seth Rogen, James Franco. Who's the other one? The guy's from The Lonely Island, one of those guys. I can't remember his name now, but he's on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. In fact, Craig Robinson was on Brooklyn Nine-Nine as a featured guest several times, a returning guest on the show. Craig Robinson was in any one of the Seth Rogen films. He's in there. But you may look on television and find him pushing every product out there, from Pizza Hut to Deets Nuts. Now he's got a Gain commercial that's fashioned to be like a what's it fashioned like? It's fashioned like the like the Flashdance movie. Vinny Vincenzo is calling me on my cell phone because I didn't respond to him. I'm on air, Vinny. I had to hang up on this dumbass. What is it? His head is shape looks a bit off. It's like he's too big. It's too big for his body. I don't know. But he irks the F out of me. Every time I see this guy, he annoys me. And I kind of think that he's a product whore. Like every time I turn around, there's a commercial with him in it. It bugs me to look at his face. And part of it is because he's not remotely funny. He's not entertaining. He's just, and I feel like these people want him to be funny. He is like a low-rent Melissa McCarthy, but with less humor. He does not, in any way, he doesn't bring out the feel-goods. He's annoying. And I don't know why. Maybe I have to search within myself to find out why this guy is a pain in my ass. So you're saying he has a punchable... Yes. Yes. When I see him, I want to punch him. If New Coke had a face, it would be Craig Robinson. Applaud me for that analogy. If New Coke had a face, it'd be Craig Robinson. I don't know what it is. He bothers me. Anyway, all right, climate change is on my radar just for a little bit this week, folks, because it's Friday. And I don't want to inundate you with the constant, all week I've been talking about Roe v. Wade. I just want to get off that subject. And to prove to you, some of you people who are runners, I can talk about anything. There was also an EPA ruling that came down from the Supreme Court. And it pretty much took powers away from the Environmental Protection Agency, which is a good thing because I believe that this organization has too much governmental power. And I do believe that they use it in a very authoritarian way. But now people are screaming about, the environment and climate change, right? And I was looking at this New York Times article. This Associated Press article. And the Associated Press article put a picture up. And this was the picture that it put up in telling the story about what the EPA had to go through in this Supreme Court ruling, how they lost. And they were talking about how the struggles of climate change took a hit today because of the Supreme Court's new ruling. Now, the Associated Press, horrible as they are, the fact that they took a stance on the article bothered me. They should have just reported what happened. But they make these claims, and it's like they don't think anybody notices. But they put this picture up. And I got to thinking, why use this photo? I know why. But it's the Associated Press. It's 2022, not 1976, not even 1986. Why use this picture? If you're wondering, and for those of you on the podcast listening, there's a picture of a factory with billows of smoke coming from the smokestacks and from the factory. You know the picture. You can imagine it in your mind. And it just shows the white smoke coming up out of the factory, plumes and the pipes. It's every picture you've ever seen that's associated with climate change. So I'm looking at this picture. I'm saying, why? Why use that picture? And I read the caption at the bottom of the page. And the bottom of the page says, factory with billows of steam leaving the pipes or whatever it was. But it said billows of steam. And the first thing ran to my mind was, hold on, stupid. This is a conversation about the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, trying to fight pollution. And you show me a picture of a factory where billows of white, clean steam are shooting out the pipes. Now, why would I say, what is steam? Did everybody drop out of high school like I did? What is steam? It's water. That's what that is. That is like a big, giant teapot going off at a factory. Look how clean and white that steam is. It's not dirty. It's not dirty steam. It's not dirty like my first girlfriend's apartment steam. No, it is white. Pure as the driven snow steam. You probably wonder, what the hell did that come from? No, it's another dirty story I can't even get into right now. Anyway, that, my friends, is clean water. This is that trope that they show you, especially guys like Al Gore. They show you that steam and they go, that's pollution. Look at the pollution. That's what kids are meant to think when they see that. Ask a young child. Show this picture to a kid. Find a picture anywhere with white steam and go to a kid and say, what is that? And they'll go, that's pollution coming from the factory. It's like, no, dummy. That's white steam. That's water. Is it? Yes, sweetheart. Come over here. Let me show you. We're going to put this teapot on the stove, right? And then when the water gets really, really hot, you're going to see white smoke come from the teapot. And that's not pollution, is it? No, because you put water in it. Oh, wow. Why do I believe that it is dirty pollution? Because you're being indoctrinated, you idiot. You know what's another one that they do? There's this one. This is my favorite one. This is my favorite. Oh, look at him. The sad, dirty polar bear floating on a sheet of ice in the Antarctica. Oh, poor polar bear. Oh, so far away from his home to die, floating away because the ice is melting and they're floating off to the abyss where they'll get no food, and they will die. And that's why the polar bear population is dying and almost extinct. Bam! Complete and utter bullshit. Here it is. Is the polar bear in danger of extinction? Wow, this was from the New York Times. Does the New York Times say that the polar bear is going extinct? It says no. The simple fact is that the polar bear are not going extinct. They are not becoming fewer and fewer. Since society started counting them in the 1960s, polar bears have never been more abundant. So I thought that the polar bear was extinct. I thought that the polar bear was dying. I thought that the polar ice caps, they're melting off the polar bears. No, they're growing. They're growing. This, according to the liberal New York Times, which, by the way, in the same paper, say that the polar bear population is decreasing by 30%. And I had to double check. Is that true? And it turns out it's not. From the New York Times. Sean Beckman says, widen out of that picture, and I bet it's land and not an iceberg. No, it actually is. That was a really, really big iceberg. I saw the whole picture. The pollution is not in the air. It's in the water. They use man-made lakes to cool the nuclear reactors. Aha! But why wouldn't they just do that, Justin? That's a great point. Why show that the pollution is coming out of the steam pipes? I don't know. Justice, that's the name I was reminded of the Simpsons. But again, I don't understand that. I don't get it. But we keep falling for these usual tropes over and over and over again. By the way, I lied. I said I wasn't going to talk about abortion, but I had to do this. Okay, folks, look at that picture right there. Look at that picture right there. I have to show this picture to you. That right there are 9 Supreme Court justices. Only one of them is black. That's one right there. That's the black Supreme Court justice. His name is Thurgood Marshall. You might remember him. He is the first African-American Supreme Court justice. Wow, in 1973, there was a black Supreme Court justice? Wow, I thought that they would have been lynching all the black people back there. They actually nominated a Supreme Court justice who was black? Oh, I can't believe that. Wow, that's so progressive. Yes, of course it is, idiot. But that's Thurgood Marshall. These are the 9 individuals, 7 of them voting yes on Roe v. Wade in 1973. Any women there? Are there any women there? Anyone? Can you find a woman there? Who can define a woman, that is? If you can define a woman, please tell me if any one of those all white men, with the exception of Thurgood Marshall, with all of those white men, these old, stodgy, old white men, whether or not you can find a woman in there who possibly voted for Roe v. Wade in the Supreme Court? No. That answer is no. No, no, and no. Of course, frickin' not. And here's the kicker. Here is the kicker. Who wants to make a guess on how many of those white, and I'll say it the way that the racists said, white Supreme Court justices. Which one of those white Supreme Court justices were Republican? How many? Take a wild guess. A 1, a 2, a 3. It was a 3. 3 Republican Supreme Court justices. They were elected by Nixon. Yeah. They would have to remove the black robe to see what sex they are. Yeah, they would have to under these circumstances. But there it is. Okay? So now we're done. Moving on. By the way, you may be hearing this story about the limousine nonsense with Donald Trump. So now they've changed the story. CNN is now reporting that it is true. Donald Trump did want to go to the Capitol. Oh, okay. We all knew that. You guys were saying that Donald Trump was never going to the Capitol. Now you're saying that he was, okay? Donald Trump said he was going to go down to the Capitol with us. I'll be going there with you. Everybody said, nah, he ain't going. Now you find out he was going, and now that's a conspiracy? Okay, fine, moving on. But this big controversy about whether or not he tried to choke out a Secret Service agent is my favorite.
During the Watergate hearings 50 years ago, there was only one surprise witness. It was Alexander Butterfield, who revealed there was a White House taping system. Well, in the January 6 hearings, the surprise witness is Cassidy Hutchinson. Then Chief of Staff Mark Meadows' top aide described the then president's fits of rage that included throwing plates of food, grabbing the steering wheel of the presidential limo, and lunging at a Secret Service agent. Hutchinson said Trump was furious that Secret Service agents were keeping some of his supporters outside of the White House ellipse because they had weapons.
When the day began, Cassidy Hutchinson was a name and face unknown to most Americans. By the end of the day, she'd made history, including her description of an altercation in the presidential limo when his chief Secret Service agent, Bobby Engel, refused to bring then-President Donald Trump to the U.S. Capitol, to which he just directed the crowd on January 6th.
The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol." Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel. And
Let's bring in our Chief Justice Correspondent, Pierre Thomas, because this was a significant piece of testimony, Pierre. Cassidy Hutchinson saying she was told that the former president lunged at that Secret Service agent in the presidential SUV. Curious what the Secret Service is saying about all this tonight.
Now, before I play this part, they brought this woman up to give this testimony that they knew she would give. Liz Cheney knew it. Adam Kinzinger knew it. Everybody who was there knew it. Right? They all knew what she was going to testify to. Everybody on the January 6th committee had access to talk to the Secret Service agents to corroborate the story. Remember, they are expressing this to the American people. But see, here's what they knew. There'd be no one there to cross-examine Ms. Hutchinson. No one would be there to challenge her. Nobody would present any witnesses to prove that she was lying or not really telling the truth. So why would they make such a mistake like that? Why? Because they have free reign in a kangaroo court to bring any witness they want, to say whatever they want. And it's not even that Kathy Hutchinson was an actual eyewitness to any of this. This woman is giving hearsay account to a story that she heard from another individual who says that they know what happened. Where in a court of law, which, by the way, this isn't. That's what they keep reminding us now. This is a hearing. They're all under oath, but this is not a court of law. So certain rules don't apply. But a hearsay evidence is allowed to come in there and give this bombshell testimony. Well, here's what the Secret Service had to say about Ms. Hutchinson's accounts of what happened.
David, the Secret Service so far is not commenting on specifics, but just informed me that they would like to respond under oath. Two sources familiar with the investigation confirmed that President Trump had requested to go to the Capitol on January 6th and that the Secret Service refused due to security concerns. One of those sources telling me that the president did return to the vehicle after his speech on the morning of January 6th and asked Agent Robert Engel if he could go to the Capitol. Engel said something to the effect of that being unwise or dangerous and that the motorcade was going to take the president back to the White House. A source close to the Secret Service just told me to expect that the Secret Service will push back against any allegation of an assault against an agent or President Trump reaching for the steering wheel, David.
Peter, I know you've just spoken to a source who has a strong response to Hutchinson's allegations.
Yeah, that's right. Late tonight, in fact, Lester, a source close to the Secret Service tells NBC News that both the lead agent and the limo driver prepared to testify under oath that neither man was assaulted and that Mr. Trump never lunged for the steering wheel. Meanwhile, Hutchinson also said today that she heard Mr. Trump had agreed to deliver a speech on January 7th condemning the violence only after aides warned him that the 25th Amendment might be used. We should note we also reached out to Mark Meadows and Rudy Giuliani, Lester. So far, they have not commented.
So while everybody was running to this, you're wondering why the January 6th committee never bothered to corroborate a story with the Secret Service. And then to condemn, in essence, pretty much smear the Secret Service to say that the president lunged at these people and they had to protect is laughable. Oh, that's not even the worst part. The two Secret Service agents and the limo driver, for that matter, these guys have served several presidents all the way back to Obama. Okay, even Obama, I think they served 20 years. So they served under Obama. And now people are smearing their names saying that these guys were loyalists to Donald Trump, which is the reason why that they weren't they weren't corroborating Hutchinson's story, which again is laughable. They're saying it didn't happen, but of course, because Hutchinson says it did, not that she witnessed it, that someone told her it happened. Her story has more credibility because she heard it than the actual people who were there, which again makes, I don't even know. Forgive my frustration here. Just forgive my frustration here. The part that I'm frustrated about is the wanton need to be stupid. I can't. It is impossible for me to understand why people want to be this dumb. It is an addiction I won't understand for a very long time. I get you don't like the guy. I understand you don't. But logic has got to seize the day to some degree. We can't be sitting here saying that Hutchinson gets an account from someone else about what happened inside of an SUV, not a limo. And she has more credibility on a story she was not a witness of than the people who were there. And the only reason you can give is because you believe that she must be telling the truth because, in your view, Trump would do something like that, even though you don't know that man. That sounds like something he would do. She must be credible. I hope you people are never on a jury. I hope you never, ever are on a jury. The facts in the case will never, ever help a person be proven guilty or innocent for a man. You would probably let a murderer go free if the person who was the victim did not align with your politics or person or way of life. That's how frightening that is that you just couldn't be just under those circumstances. Your emotions would get the best of you. Yeah, I know he killed him and cut him up into 7 pieces, but he voted for Trump. Can you imagine that? I mean, I don't know. It just bothers me. Hey, the story that White Mike mentioned yesterday, I wanted to play this video. Try this on for size. With crime going up 132% in West Hollywood, they've decided to defund the police. Now, folks, hear me out. They got rid of 4 sheriff deputies in West Hollywood. 4 of them. And they replaced them with 30 officers. But wait until you hear who these officers are.
Lots of talk over the past few years of defunding the police. Tonight, West Hollywood has done it, voting to reduce the number of armed deputies and using the money it saved to hire unarmed security patrols. KCAL 9's Lori Perez is live in West Hollywood to fill us in.
That's right, folks. They have hired 30 unarmed security patrol officers. Unarmed. They are going to be walking around West Hollywood unarmed while crime is happening in West Hollywood.
Well, Pat, it was a controversial vote and quite a turnaround. The city council actually went into budget negotiations on Monday with a proposal to add a deputy. But by the end of the meeting, they had approved a budget to cut funding for 5 deputies and instead hire 30 private security guards.
Now, there's something about this video that you can see on here. Many of you may not be familiar with New York City, but New York City has a couple of interesting names in New York City, right? So the triangle below Canal is referred to as Tribeca. An area in Brooklyn is referred to as Dumbo. That is down under the Manhattan Bridge overpass. That is Dumbo. We have a town called Soho. That is S-O-H-O. That is south of Houston. That, by the way, is above Tribeca, the triangle below Canal. We have the Upper East Side, right? That is UES. And we have the Upper West Side, and that is UWS. We have Chelsea, which is the Chelsea section. It's not broken down for anything. It's just a town called Chelsea. We have Alphabet City. Alphabet City is the streets or the avenues on Alphabet City are Avenue A, Avenue B, Avenue C, Avenue D. They are commonly known as arson, burglary, crime, and drugs. That's what the alphabet stands for. But if you notice in this picture, this town is called WeHo. That is the town of West Hollywood. That's right, folks. The West Hollywood nickname is WeHo. West Hollywood is a very gay community. You may remember that WeHo was in the news when Eddie Murphy picked up a drag queen in the area. I guess that was stuck or their car broke down or something like that. But yes, West Hollywood is a gay community. And today I learned that its nickname is WeHo. I can't. John Beckman, I'm not reading that. But if you can see it in the comments, let's just say you can pretty much figure out what he said. Anyway, here's the rest of the story.
A fatal shooting at an upscale apartment complex, a terrifying follow home, a blatant street robbery. West Hollywood has seen a spike in crime over the last year, which is why a vote to cut funding for 5 deputies over the next year caught many by surprise, including the city's mayor.
Sheriffs have one role and the unarmed security ambassadors have another role. But the truth of the matter is, if there is a criminal out there, they cannot arrest a criminal. They're unarmed, so they can't even defend themselves. And they just don't replace deputies.
That's right. They don't replace deputies. So those 30 unarmed security officers, I hope those guys, I wish them the best and stay safe out there. Because Lord knows you're not going to be able to defend yourself with anything. That's going to be bad. Finally, folks, before we get out of here, this scared the hell out of me when I heard this today. Because the Biden administration has decided that they are going to let it all hang out. The 2022 midterms are here. They'll be here in November. And just after that, it'll be the 2024 election. Gas prices are through the roof. Some of the prices have gone down just about 10 cents in some cases, some places 20 cents. But the average in some other areas like California is in the $7 to $8 range. Inflation is through the roof. 85% of the country think we're going in the wrong direction. And Biden sits at 38% approval. So at this point, the wheels are falling off. And Joe Biden and his administration have decided to let it all hang out. And they are letting you know that the reason why most of this is happening to you is because there is an agenda. As said by the energy chief to the White House, a man by the name of Brian Deese.
The military analyst, the director of national intelligence, they say that this could be a long war measured in years. And I think everybody understands why this is happening. But is it sustainable? What do you say to those families who say, listen, we can't afford to pay $4.85 a gallon for months, if not years. This is just not sustainable.
Well, what you heard from the president today was a clear articulation of the stakes. This is about the future of the liberal world order, and we have to stand firm. But at the same time, what I'd say to that family and to Americans across the country is you have a president and administration that is going to do everything in its power to blunt those price increases and bring those prices down.
Now, you really can't do both. And did you hear what Brian Deese said? That what we heard from the president? That he's trying to maintain what now?
This is about the future of the liberal world order.
Oh. The future of the liberal world order. Do you think he misspoke?
This is about the future of the liberal world order.
Yeah. He didn't. He's talking about he's trying to bring the prices down. The president of the United States is trying to bring the price of gas down. But the important is that this is the agenda of the liberal world order. He said that on CNN. I wonder why on CNN he said it. I'll tell you why he said it on CNN. Because no one's watching it over there. You can say it, nobody can hear about it. But guess what? Everybody caught on to it because it went viral. And when you hear an administration say that it is looking to do a liberal world order, that it is doing its best to liberalize the world, not liberate, liberalize the world. That is very damning for this administration. And I told you before, just like I'm telling you now, Republicans, your campaign ad is writing itself.
This is about the future of the liberal world order.
That's it. You just played the whole thing.
The military analyst, the director of national intelligence, they say that this could be a long war measured in years. And I think everybody understands why this is happening. But is it sustainable? What do you say to those families who say, listen, we can't afford to pay $4.85 a gallon for months, if not years. This is just not sustainable.
Well, what you heard from the president today was a clear articulation of the stakes. This is about the future of the liberal world order, and we have to stand firm.
This is the future of the liberal world order, and we have to stand firm. So, folks, you have to eat those gas prices because the liberal world order must maintain. We have to continue. So you have to continue to eat it. What more can I tell you? What more can I tell you? I can tell you a little more. Hold on to this. Hey, how would you like to see a montage of Corinne Jean-Pierre botching questions and having no answers? These are the adults in the room, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't have anything specific for you. Again, I don't have anything specific here.
Oh, I did not hear that part of the speech. The president's focused on delivering for the American people. The president is focused on getting things done for the American people. I just don't have them in front of me. So I was not on the background call.
I mean, but I don't understand the question.
That is not a question that we should be even asking. I do not have a date for you. I don't have anything new. I know we made some announcements last week. I can't speak to it right now.
I have to look at the comments. I have not seen them.
It's a very good question. I don't have an update on that.
That's something I can't speak to.
I just don't have anything for you at this time. I would need to talk to her team.
So I don't have anything more to share.
I feel like is there something else to the question?
I can't comment on that. I have not seen it. I have not read them, and I need to read it. I do not know.
I just don't have them in front of me.
I don't understand the question.
No easy questions today, huh?
Yeah. White Mike says she's an embarrassment to both black women and lesbians, and that's not easy to do. Folks, what am I supposed to tell you? This is really, really bad. That's the reason why it's got to end. It's the reason why we have to do something about it. Please, look, if you're liberal, please do me a favor. And I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Let me speak to you. Let me speak to you. Liberals, Democrats, whatever it is you're calling yourself this week. Let me holler at you. Let's you and I, let's talk. You and me. Hear me out. On election day, I'm going to need you to stay home. Chill out. No activism, no nothing. Okay? Just stay home. You already mucked it up. In 2020, you did a bang up job. Yes, you showed us, right? You showed us that when we give you the power, that when we give you the strength in numbers, when we give you ballot boxes and mail-in voting, we know that when we give you that much power, you will F it up royally. We get it. We've learned. You said you were going to show us, and boy, you did. You know? A lot of us had to go into our nest egg, our savings, just to stay afloat. You know? We had to wear masks. We couldn't go into certain places. Some people lost their jobs. Some people were kicked out of the military. Some people were fired. You showed us. You know, how dare we vote for Donald Trump? Yeah, you did. You get, yeah. Pat yourselves on the back. Try not to break your arm, you piece of garbage. You did what you needed to do. We get it. But this November, okay, so you don't do any further damage, right? You 5-year-old with a Molotov cocktail, you do us a favor. You just stay home. Do whatever it is you do. Smoke your weed, you know. Maybe do some new coloring in your coloring book. Have a little group powwow where you guys smoke peyote and other ridiculous drugs. Okay? No fentanyl, though. No fentanyl. Perhaps you guys just get together, do, a drum circle. You guys are big on that. Still are. You know? Go to a concert. Maybe one of your favorite bands are playing. Okay? Not Travis Scott. Anybody else. Okay? We want you to be safe. But whatever's happening on Election Day in November, go do something else. Go do that. Okay? Get on your calendars right now. For me, for the rest of us, for the adults, the real adults in the room. Okay? No more temper tantrums. If you want, we'll donate to one of your favorite charities. What's a good charity you're on? Huh? What? What was that? Women with long beards? Whatever. Okay. Yeah, just send us the information. We'll cut you a check. Huh? What was it? Transgender tricycle riders? Okay, whatever. Fine. Just send us the information. Text it to us. We will donate to your favorite charity, whatever it takes, okay? We would be happy to help you out. You know what? Hold on. I've got the perfect idea. Check this out. I think I figured out what you can do. Since anybody can get one, right? On Election Day in November, why don't you all go get abortions? This way, none of those offspring will ever vote liberal either in the future, saving the rest of our democracy. We'd appreciate that. Okay? That makes sense? That absolutely perfect. Okay? All right, folks, that's our show for today. I had to abridge it today. It's Friday. It's hot. I've got a long day tomorrow, as do you, I'm sure. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planned, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night and a pleasant weekend, because I hope to see you back here on Monday. All right? Holla, holla, pop your collar. Oh, don't forget, on Tuesday, baby. On Tuesday, Reese on the Radio debuts, WTIC. I'll let you all know about it on Monday. Y'all be good. Holler.